What's good, YouTube? It is your boy Seamade KJ, and I'm coming at y'all with another banger today, man. And in today's video, I'm gonna be answering the most common questions I get. This can include, DMs, comments under my videos. I see all the video suggestions and everything, and I appreciate all that. And I'm gonna try to get separate videos for everybody's questions. But this is gonna be the most common. I put a poll up on my Instagram. By the way, make sure you go follow me at Seamade KJ on Instagram. But I put a poll up and let everybody ask their questions. So I'm going to be going over the most common ones that I get. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to go like, comment, and subscribe, but we can get straight into the video. Alright y'all, like I said, this is going to be from my Instagram. This is not going to be a super long video. I might do parts to this, like part 1, part 2, part 3. Drop down in the comment section below if you want me to answer more questions. But I got my phone right here, so I'm going to just go on my Instagram and see what questions you guys ask. So let's get into it. Alright, first question we got, I brush my back waves a lot, but it's still not as good as the top of my head. Any tips? My answer for this question as to why you're basically not getting waves in the back of your head is because your hair has different textures in it. Okay, you can have coarse on one side and coarse medium on the other side. Me personally, I don't know what this person's head looks like, but I'll say they need to wolf the back out longer than the rest of their hair. So most wavers, for example, most wavers say, okay, I'm cutting my hair at one certain length and I'm gonna leave my crown higher because that's harder to wave up. Now you need to do the same exact thing with the sides. Now whether you self-cut or you go to the barber, you can ask the barber to do a 2 on the top and the sides, a 2.5 on the crown, and a 3 in the back. And because he's a licensed barber, he has to give you what you asked for, or else you don't have to pay. You need to find a different barber. Like I said, you can go about leaving certain parts of your hair thicker because not all your hair is the exact same. Some might grow differently, might have different texture, different curl pattern. So I suggest leaving your hair a little thicker in the back and washing and styling at least twice a week. Follow my methods, my nightly routine, morning routine. Make sure you're using a hard enough brush to get down to the scalp while you're wolfing. But that's basically it for that question. I appreciate you. The question was by wavy_go 2144. So I appreciate you for asking the question. Now let's get straight on to the next question, man. We got a couple trollers. We got 360 EB _wave poppy. They both said, how do you get waves and how to have waves like yourself? Those two trolls, so I'm not even going to address those questions. But make sure you go follow them on Instagram. They're also really good waivers, waivers that I look at as a motivation. So if you want to go over, slide over to their Instagram pages. I'll leave wave poppies right here and 360 EBs right here. All right, for the next question, we got a question by BLVD Mo. It might be Boulevard Mo. How do I wash my hair if I'm in the beginning stage? And basically, your washing style is going to be typically the same. Okay, but the two things you don't want to do is you don't want to scrumble wash your hair because that's going to confuse your connections. And as you're first starting out, all you want to do is just brush forward, brush forward. You want to get the hair trained to go a certain way because depending on what your last style was, whether you had curls, they're going all over the place. Dreadlocks, afro, that hair is not trained to go forward in the direction of whatever wave pattern you got. Whether it be 540, 360, 720 or whatever, your wave pattern is not set yet. So you don't want to scramble wash, you don't want to comb against the grain until you start seeing your connection starting to come in. Now this is going back to what I talked about in previous videos where I'll say after the first 3 or so months of having ripples, those are going to be a ripple stage, and then after that you're going to typically get into connections. You're going to start seeing where your hair flows, what pattern you actually want. You're going to start seeing that after like the 3rd or 4th month, depending on how much you're brushing and also depending on how much you cut your hair. You don't want to cut your hair that often unless you see over curl or you're starting to over wolf, but I don't suggest getting your hair cut every 2 weeks, every week and a half, because that's not gonna really get the most definition out of your waves, and that's a whole different topic. That's about wolfing and stuff. So make sure you go check out my videos on wolfing and everything. But Boulevard Mo, that's to answer your question. You don't want to scramble wash and you don't want to comb against the grain. So what I would do if I was a beginner, I would wet my hair, warm water, comb with the grain, and then add my shampoo, use a detangled shower brush and just go with the grain of my pattern. Rinse that out. If you want to add conditioner, use conditioner, do the same thing. And then on the last and final wash, just brush your pattern with the grain, rag up, and rinse with cold water. All right, next question, we got a question by Kenny G37, and he asks, what is your favorite oil to use on a daily basis? Now, for me personally, these are just certain oils that I like using on a daily basis. I'll use avocado oil or coconut oil. Now, those two oils I really like for my hair. On days that I'm not doing like an MBO method, like right after a wash, I'll moisturize my hair. And on days that I'm not moisturizing, I'll add an oil. I'll add like avocado oil or coconut oil, because I don't like brushing dry hair. And I might, throw in some Seamade butter into there. But on days I'm not moisturizing, I'll typically use those two oils. Pretty simple question. I appreciate you for asking. Next, we got a question by idrip_Johnny, and he said how to get and maintain a crown. Now, there's many different ways you can go about finding your natural crown. That's the crown you want to go based off. All right, that's how your flow is gonna be. That's the beginning. And a mistake that I made is not focusing on my crown until basically my pattern is almost complete. Like I was down to 2-3 forks and with a bad crown. So now you got to change up your crown. Develop forks. Most people will develop a lot of forks, so that's what you need to focus on from the beginning. Okay, don't wait to do it, don't slack on it. The crown is just as important as any other side. I know people say that a lot, but that's really important because I didn't focus on it, and I had to deal with changing my crown every other session, because it's like, okay, that's not my natural crown, but my wave pattern is already set. So I'm trying to make my crown do something that's not already doing, and it's just making the whole process harder. So what I suggest doing is you can either cut pretty low, like if you're a corset waver, cut with a 1 guard closed. That's a pretty low cut. If you want to go lower than that, you can do like a half guard or whatever. You want to cut real low, and then you'll be able to see your natural crown. Or you can like scramble wash, and usually if you scramble wash and look around, you can see where your crown is. Now, if your crown is offset, you want to try to stick to that crown. You can try to move it a little bit, but try to keep your crown where it's naturally at, so your wave pattern will flow. The most common way our hair grows is in a 540 direction. Your crown naturally swirls. So try to find your crown, and if you're going beehive, you just gotta break that swirl. If you're going 360 swirl, you gotta break the swirl. But just find the natural crown and then just go from there. You gotta put in constant work during the washing styles. I suggest using a little toothbrush thing. I got one of those myself. Using a pointy tip of a curved brush. Those are things that will really help your crown, and make sure your crown is also moisturized too, because most people don't apply product directly to their crown, and they might suffer from flakes, dandruff, any type of other things. So I suggest getting a good all natural product. You want a good moisturizer and a butter, head over to seamadeproducts.com. But that's it for idrip_Journey's question, and on to the last and final question. We got a question from Colin_Pop. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, sorry about that, but his question was, how can I work on overall connections? Now, I have countless videos on this already, but I'm just gonna do a real quick recap of it. What you want to do is you want to get you a good brush, a good flat brush, and of course vertical brush. That's basically not brushing like this. You want to brush straight up and down, so more bristles come in contact with that area that you need help with. Another way, I did a method that I didn't make it up, but I haven't heard anybody really talk about it, is getting a fork, basically cutting it in half, or drawing an imaginary line and brush opposite of the way that you want it that it's going, so it can line up. Basically just brushing opposite, or you can wash and style. That's a great way of getting good connections. Really, you just don't want to blind brush that often unless you really know your angles. And if you're asking about how to get great connections, you probably don't know your angles. So what I suggest doing is always just staying in the mirror, always putting in work. Watch my videos, go back to see my old videos on connections. I do videos on connections all the time, because that's pretty much my most asked question, man. People ask me, how do I get my connections? How do I break forks? But I have countless videos on that in the past, so make sure you go check those videos out. But if you don't have a flat brush and you have a curved brushes cover more space on your head, and they fit the head shape a little better than flats do. So you're gonna be able to pull more hair with the curved brush, opposed to doing like this. Only the middle is getting to your head. If you get a curved brush, you're gonna be able to, cover the whole head, and that's gonna, you can overlap your angles like this, but curved brushes do help pull all the hair at once. So what I say is curved brushes help better with flow, and flat brushes you can work on connections a little better. You can just tap areas. Shit, that's how you work on connections. Colin_pop. I appreciate you for asking a question. But that's it for today's video. If y'all want a part 2 of my most common questions that I get asked, then make sure to drop the comment down below. But I appreciate y'all for tuning into the video, so make sure to go like, comment, and subscribe, and go over to my website, seamadeproducts.com. And I appreciate y'all for watching, but I'll see you guys in the next video.